everybody! It's time for everyone's favorite again, eBay SuperSize sales of $100 or more. These sales come from my Facebook group where we have a dedicated thread every month for sellers to show off what they sold, and the criteria is that the sales need to be $100 or more. These are from the October thread, and there were 251 comments. So a very busy month, and we are going to jump in and get started. These sales are in ascending order from lowest to highest. And we're going to start with Eileen Cole, who is a repeat offender on this thread. She said, I was invited by an estate sale to a private pick and got these for $12.50, listed for $125, and accepted an offer of $100 plus shipping, sold in 6 weeks. This is a pair of Chinese ceramic blue Foo dog lion statues. At first I thought they were bookends, but they just seem to be regular decorative statues. $12.50 for the set, sold for $100. Tanya Gibson has a bit of a story on this item. She said, purchased for $1 at a church rummage sale, listed for auction starting at $100 with offers feature on, and kept getting them below my start price, which I declined. One person wrote me an angry note saying that because the glue had yellowed on the wings, which I had disclosed, I would never get $100 for it. I wrote back that because this one is so rare, it's from the first year that Target started making these birds, which now they make tons of to celebrate seasons and holidays, I wasn't going to take offers below the starting price. I also mentioned that every example of this bird I found on WorthPoint had the same yellowing. He wrote back that the yellowing meant that the bird hadn't been taken care of properly and kept out of the sun the way he, a collector, did with these birds. So yeah, I blocked him. No bids on auction, so I relisted at $100 with no option for offers. Sold a couple of weeks later. So this is a Target 2013 white bird with red hat, bow tie, featherly spritz, rare winter Christmas. It doesn't look like it's an ornament. It looks like it's just a little decorative figure. And just a side note about sellers who message you and tell you that you'll never get your price. They pretty much want you to take a lower price so that they can buy it either for themselves or to resell. So whenever I get a message like that, you have this overpriced, you're never going to get that much for it. My radar goes up and I think, I'm going to stick with my price or even raise it because that is a great indication that there is a demand and a desire for the item. Next up is Tammy Mitchell, purchased on Facebook Marketplace for $10, sold in 4 months for $100 plus shipping. The Pioneer Woman Fiona Floral Stoneware Rolling Pin, $100 for a rolling pin. Jane Brown, free to me from a customer at work who was moving. They gave me a bunch of things. I probably got this in May or June and finally got it listed. Sent 5 $90 offers and finally sold for full asking price in 5 days. This is a vintage Turkish tapestry wall art measuring 57 by 38 inches with a woman, lion, tiger, leopard, jaguar, all kinds of cats. $100. Jeanette, I'm not even going to try that last name, so you can tell me how to say it. Jeanette K. Had it listed for $140, but finally got an offer over $100. Got it in a lot at an estate sale with other things, so maybe $30 into it. Antique copper electric table or desk lamp. Sold for $105, and that is just adorable. I love the hammered copper texture of the shade. It's just cute. Diana Warren paid $12.50 at auction for this vintage Pendleton wool car coat. Took several months with some very low offers. I took best offer of $125, and it is happily with its new owner. It is a Pendleton vintage jacket, 1960s brown plaid, size large, extra large, sold for $125. Leslie Von Cannon. I bought this electric toothbrush from the 70s, new in the box, from an estate auction. I paid less than $1 for it in a box lot. Sold in 3 months for $125. And this is Broxident by Squibb electric toothbrush, original box, 4 new heads. And you just got to wonder if the buyer is actually going to use this or if this is going to be a prop for a movie. Because I tell you what, I've been getting into some Hulu originals, Amazon originals, and a lot of these are taking place back in the 70s and 80s. And I'm carefully looking at the background to see what kinds of props I can recognize. And I feel like, especially with the true crime stuff, that's going to be a trend. We're going to see more of these shows being made. I like true crime not for the crime, but for the detective work and how did they solve this. And a lot of these crimes weren't solved until decades later when the technology caught up with the detective work. So that's why these are coming back, is because these crimes have now been solved, like the Golden State Killer, for example. But anyway, sorry to digress, but that's what I'm thinking with a lot of these older things. Even if it's just the box, it can be used as a prop because the attention to detail in some of these shows is just unbelievable. They have put every single item there intentionally and it fits with the time frame. So just throwing that out there, if you come across any boxes or things that are broken, they can still be used. Collectors like them, but this is just another layer of selling on eBay, is selling things for props. Okay, Joy Jounces found these last Monday night as Savers was closing. Shocked they were still there on a day when everything was half off. Like new condition with one scratch to book number 3, cover, and book 1 inscribed. Paid $14.73 for all 10 books. Sold in 4 days because I didn't post them till Thursday. Sold for $157.53 including media mail shipping, but the listing shows 125. So I'm not sure if there were multiple listings or what happened there, but bottom line is these are the Bible story books, complete set, 1 through 10, 1973, and I see these all the time in thrift stores. They're very easy to recognize with the blue cover and the yellow writing, and then of course the graphic design of the people. So I did not know these were valuable. Jackie Basie. These were in the bottom of a box of art supplies I found in the garage at an estate sale on Friday. I purchased the entire box of supplies for $6. I listed this item for $150 and sent out an offer for $125 that was accepted. Purchase to listing to sold in less than 24 hours. So I commend you, Jackie, for getting the item listed, because that's the missing piece in a lot of cases is the item sits in a death pile for a long time and people can't buy things that aren't listed. The item is Barrel Prismacolor Art Sticks, discontinued 48 color set, sold for $150. Okay, Donald Hucks has a bit of a story. He says, "Hello, I have a good one. I've been away from eBay for a while. I decided to get back into it after realizing I really enjoy thrifting and garage sales as a hobby. So I started plumbing by day and moonlighting eBay by night. Wow, has eBay changed? But anyway, I was under a customer's house working and saw a box of old toys. I told my helper I should ask about that box. Well, we had finished and I got to talking to the customer and asked. She said, 'What toys?' So I showed her. Long story short, she said I could have them. I took them home, cleaned them up, and started listing them. I listed Mr. Hillbilly for $45. Within 10 minutes, I had 2 offers over asking price. Then the questions started. Is the stand original, and does it come with the wrestler? So I said yes and yes. Post extra pictures of the stand. By morning, I had 3 more offers and one tempting one at $70. At this point, I thought, this needs to go to auction. So I declined them all, including a last-minute $100 offer just for the stand. So I will be looking out for WWF wrestling stands from now on. Sorry for the long story, just excited. Only been back on eBay about a month and it's been great." So this is Hillbilly Jim with hat, 1986 WWF action figure 8-inch tall, sold for $129.36. And Donald found this in a box of stuff when he was on a plumbing job underneath someone's house. So I love that. I mean, items are everywhere. You don't have to look very hard if you just pay attention. Jessica Lloyd Paranto. We went to a church sale and I picked up 2 of these prints for $35, $17.50 each. This one sold in about a month and the other one is still listed. Originally, the artist was Walter Keane, but it later turns out everything was painted by his wife and he was taking all the credit. This is vintage, mid-century modern Walter Margaret Keane Big Eye Girl art print. Sold for $129.99. Down below in the comments, someone mentioned there is a movie about Margaret Keane's life called Big Eyes, made in 2014. It is on Netflix. You can also rent it on Amazon, which I will be doing because I did not know this existed and I would love to learn about that backstory. So this has been a public service announcement. Moving on to Lynn Marie. I found this in a consignment shop 5.5 years ago and waited for one of their timed markdowns, paying $10.74. I listed it back then, but there was 0 interest, so ended it at some point. I had just started reselling and was very inexperienced. It could have been that I didn't have good keywords, but since then I've learned a lot, especially that MCM, which stands for Mid-Century Modern, is a good keyword. On Friday, I decided to look at comps and was excited at the current prices. Listed on September 30th and had 2 offers before I went to bed. Waited until noon on October 1st to give Western time zone people a chance. Accepted an offer of $105. This is a vintage slag glass swung vase, orange, bittersweet, mid-century modern. Very cool looking piece. Next up is Savannah Boone. I bought this set of wine glasses at Goodwill for $6. It sold for $149.99 in 3 months during my 25% off store sale. This is a set of Pier 1 hand-blown red flower wine goblet glasses. Rare, hard to find. And there were so many comments on how other sellers just loved the presentation here. I'm one of those. I think this photo is outstanding. It's just interesting. It has some depth to it. The colors are fun. So that makes all the difference in the world, is having great photos. So here's some of those comments. Teg McRow said, I love how you displayed these. Karen Morris said, wow, I'm curious what made you list them high. Great sale. I love selling Pier 1 glasses. And Savannah said, I could only find one similar set that sold in the last 365 days. So yeah, Pier 1 is definitely becoming collectible because a lot of their items, as with many retail items, are limited edition. They're not going to say limited edition, but maybe Pier 1 only made them for a short time. And I did come across a video the other day talking about discontinued food items, but this concept also applies to anything. Manufacturers, retailers, brands are now creating items so they will have that treasure hunt feature, meaning it's not like the things at Sam's and Costco that are stacked 300 high on a table. There's going to be less of them to make them more desired, because the less there is of something, the more it's worth. Aaron Fritz paid 99 cents at Goodwill. Sold for full asking price of $149.99 in 1 month. This is a set of tarot cards from 1972. $1 and sold for $150. Holly Feger has a BOLO. She says, also making it just under the wire. I finally found one of the Ikea pink Johnsburg vases. It is one of the first BOLOs I ever heard Suzanne talk about. Side note, Suzanne has talked about this, but Suzanne has not found it. But Suzanne is always looking for it. For some reason, I thought it was small, but this is a pretty big vase. Anyway, I found this at a consignment shop that was new to me for $26.49. I originally priced it at $225, but after a week and considering the current comps, I dropped it to $149.99. Sold in a few days after the price drop. It is the 2005 Ikea Hella Jongeris Asia Pink and Gold Johnsburg Collection Vase. And here it is on page 30 of the 2021 BOLO book. The price at the time the research was done for this item was around $250. The prices do fluctuate depending on how many are available on eBay, but it has gone for that much in the past. So if you find one, depending on your business model, you could be a fast nickel and price it low, or you could be a slow dime and hold out for the higher price. So there you go. The Ikea Johnsburg vase was found. Brandon Haney. I took a chance on a bit of a drive to an estate sale in a small town about an hour and a half away. Was like they closed the doors in early to mid 1980s. Got some Barbie accessory packs there, but the dolls I was mostly going for were too high to resell. looked all over the house to find things to make the trip worth it, and almost left before realizing I hadn't gone in the backyard. There was a small shed with a tub of what looked like cribs, liners, and sheets. Oh, crib liners and sheets. Notice that this baby blanket as I dug through it. No price. Took it in, told them where I got it, and they said $4. Sold. Bought on August 25th, sold October 4th for full price of $150. This is a vintage Winnie the Pooh baby blanket. Okay, Kathleen Gifford. I purchased this Dimensions unopened crewel kit for $3 at a thrift store about 6 months ago. It sold for full asking price of $150. So this is a Christmas item, Dimensions Crewel Stitchery Christmas Stocking Kit. $3 went for $150, and it sold in October before Halloween, so say it with me, Christmas sells all year. I think I need to make up a song with all of my sayings in it so it'll get stuck in everybody's head like a jingle from a commercial. Lynn Merritt also has a Christmas item. Picked up this very large Bucilla finished Christmas stocking at Goodwill during Christmas time last year. Paid $2.99. I had it listed for 10 months. It was listed for $225. I took a best offer of $150. So this is jumbo 28-inch Santa down the chimney Bucilla finished completed stocking. Janine Allen Joyce, best sale in a while. I found these brand new purple label Ralph Lauren pants at Goodwill. They had a red tag, which means they were marked up to $9.99. I was totally willing to pay that. However, they had a security tag on the cuff. I showed it to the cashier and asked if they would reduce the price. She dropped it to $4.99. I figured my husband could remove it, and he did. Sold for best offer of $150 plus shipping in a couple of months, even though I couldn't get the photos to come out great. I agree, Janine. White is very hard to photograph, but I think that looks great. You did a good job. So initial investment $5, sold for $150. Dawn McMaster, part of a large buyout on vintage Christmas items. I paid maybe $2, sold for $165. Christmas is one thing that truly sells all year. So she said it, I didn't. Frosted glitter Mercury glass pine cone ornaments. $2, sold for $165. Eileen Cole has another one. I picked up this perfume at an estate sale for $12, listed for $249, declined numerous lowball offers, and accepted an offer of $175 after 4 months. This is Oh My Gorgeous Spray Eau de Parfum Soma Embraceable Perfume. I didn't even know that Soma made perfume. If this is the same Soma that sells bras and sleepwear and other unmentionables. So $12, sold for $175. Marissa Stinson bought this entire lot for $44 at a kids consignment sale in September. Sold in less than a month. This is Peppa Pig toy lot with a whole bunch of stuff. $44, and it sold for $180 for a bunch of little plastic things. Okay, Mary Curick found this on the housewares shelf at Savers for $7.99. I like gadgets, had no idea what it actually was. Looked it up and found nice comps. Started with a 3-day auction at $135 and a buy it now of $195, sold in 24 hours. The title of the item is Vintage Brunton Pocket Transit Professional Series with leather case, box, and book. And Mary, I did Google this because I also wanted to know what it was. And that was not helpful because I could not figure out what it was in just a few minutes. So, if anybody knows what this is and what it does, please enlighten us because I'm clueless. But good eye, Mary, for grabbing that for $8 and selling it for $1.95. Okay, Eileen Cole again, and I'm including this because I just thought these looked so cool and they could have been purchased for home decor. She said, I bought this book set at Salvation Army thrift store while driving home from vacation. They cost $15. Sold in 3 days for full asking price of $1.99 plus shipping. Marcel Proust, 6-volume Folio Society, In Search of Lost Time, 2005. I love the numbers on the spine. Those just look really cool, and I can absolutely see this being used for home decor. Roshina Ward bought this Astros jacket for $7 at a Goodwill. Took best offer of $200 within a few days of listing it. Rare Houston Astros Metro Major League Baseball starter jacket, made in USA, vintage 80s, 90s. $7 and it sold for $200. Next up is Zachary McDore, aka the philosopher Garbage Man. He made up that name for himself during the podcast, so we can all remember him as that. He said, my wife cleaned out the closet and left all my metal detectors on the floor for me to trip over. I took the hint and listed 3 of them. This one sold for $200, and then he's got a couple of more. One sold for $162.50 and another for $92. So the moral of the story is when your wife wants you to clean up your stuff, just sell it on eBay and make money. Carlos Chavez. I bought this 1984 G.I. Joe Tyco US-1 electric trucking high adventure set, incomplete, for $20 at a garage sale about 6 months ago, and it sold for best offer of $200 plus shipping. Carol Hollis, and this is a gorgeous painting. $3 at the thrift store, sold when I sent out offers for $130. Took about a month to sell. Original oil on canvas Robert Thomas signed Hawaii waterfall ocean cliff, $200. Cindy Minders, purchased at a thrift store for $15. After doing some research, I decided to list it for $275. Received a $200 offer the next morning, which I gladly accepted. Antique Jewett Brothers and Company, Sheldon, Iowa, Spice Tin. $15, sold for $200. Courtney Dam. I paid $1 each for these vintage magic sets at my local thrift. Sold the lot for $200. It took about 3 months, but I'm happy with it. Vintage lot of 8 Magic Works in box, 1993 Milton Bradley Trick. So $1 each, sold for $200. Diana Warren. Well, after having him listed for just about 1 year, Mr. Snoopy has found a new home. He was free to me from my aunt, who is clearing out her Peanuts collection. Sold on my 30% off sale for $209 plus shipping. This is a 32-inch Snoopy blow mold. Tina DeVore. Didn't think I'd have anything for this thread after such a good September, but wonders never cease. Got this at a liquidation store near my house that I pop into every couple of months. Very surprised to see a rack of new with tag Patricia Nash purses. Paid $89. That's a big leap of faith for me. In July, listed for $279. Got an offer of $150 yesterday, countered with $220 plus shipping, and it was accepted. Going out the door today. There's a little conversation here. Barbara McCandless said, "Great sale. I'm not familiar with this brand. Will keep my eyes open now." And Tina said, "Suzanne has a video on this brand in the premium library," which, yes, that is true. I have a Patricia Nash lesson in the handbag course. It is 17 minutes long, and you will notice a download button on the bottom left. In case you weren't aware, you can download everything in the premium library to keep forever. That is part of your membership. So if you have not checked it out yet, here is the information on the free trial. You can try it out, see if you like it. You can download anything and everything you want. That is perfectly fine. And if you don't want to continue, that is perfectly fine. Just let me know and I will delete your account. And as a reseller, you really don't know what you don't know because there's just so much out there. And so that is my mission with the premium library, is to inform as many people as possible so that we can all make more money. Okay, moving on to Whitney Kruger. Paid $15 for this charming vintage Christian Werner toy ark in its original box at an estate sale. Sold within 5 days for $225 plus shipping. I love finding vintage antique wood arks. They're always special. Was tempted to keep this one. It was so cute. Cora Allen. I paid $9.50 for this at Savers. It sold within a few days for my full asking price plus shipping. I wish every sale was this easy and profitable. There were so many solds for way less, but a few had sold for over $200. Mine was in really nice condition, so I decided to list high, knowing sometimes the price influences the buyer's perception of the value of an item. Here is a fabulous swag lamp. Marla Sherry. I paid $5 at a yard sale. It took 4 months to sell, but was worth the wait. I purchased 2 of these, and the other one sold last June. This sold for $249.45. It is a vintage mid-century hanging swag lamp, green glass. And yes, I remember these. We had one hanging over our kitchen table. These fun swag lamps are back. Sal Gal. Found this at Savers for $14 and sold it for best offer of $150 plus shipping. Ralph Lauren Sophie Brooke Yellow Floral King Comforter, made in USA. And I'm seeing a lot of these older Ralph Lauren patterns in the linens, comforters, sheets. These are coming back. So when you see these loud floral patterns in the linen section, look further. See if it's one of those that are highly sought after. Amy Crane Decker went to a rummage sale with a bunch of local YouTube resellers. And Amy, I'm interested to know who those were. I tried not to be intimidated and just did my thing. Got these for $1. Posted for $250 or best offer after doing some research, and they sold for $250 full price in 3 hours. Maybe worth more, but my motto, quick nickel, slow dime. Never let all the other resellers get you down. They can't find it all. And that is so true. There is plenty for everyone. We live in a friendly universe with abundance, and if you just seek, you shall find. Dina Napoli found my first glassy baby in the wild. Paid $1.99 for it, and it sold for $265 in 4 hours. This is a rare one called Reimagined, and it doesn't come up for sale often. Make sure you check the drinking glass section in your Goodwill for these. I think the employee thought it was a glass tumbler. I was on cloud nine all day with this flip. So there you see it, glassy baby votive candle holder, $1.99, and it sold for $265. Francisco Infante. I bought this beer tap knob at an estate sale for $37. I almost drove away but decided to do some research in the car and then decided to take a chance. It looked like a cheap plastic to me but turned out to be Bakelite, and the company is no more. Didn't know what it was worth, so I started it on auction for $50. It ended up selling for $282.73 plus shipping. Glad I went back. Like Quasimodo, I had a hunch. That's a good one. Never heard that before. Okay, moving on to the mega sales, 350 or more. We've got Alfredo Hernandez squeaking in at $349.99. Found this beautiful bag in a small town thrift while on vacation. Paid $30. Buyer paid full asking price. This is a vintage Polo Ralph Lauren tartan green plaid black watch duffel bag. $30 and sold for just under $350. Mike Mushluski, I hope I said that right, found this book at Half Price Books in Milwaukee. I flipped through the books looking for autographs and was lucky to find this Reggie White autographed book. Paid $7 plus tax. Got it authenticated for $50, sold for full asking of $350 in about 3 months. So this is Reggie White signed the Packers 75 Seasons of Memories. Zachary is back with a pair of speakers that someone dropped off at the transfer station last weekend. $360 for this pair of speakers that someone threw away. Good catch. Susie Palmer Grant. This was an extremely exciting sale for me. I paid $34 at a thrift store after briefly comping them in the store. I saw tons of green ones listed, but upon further research, I found that no blue bowls were listed. That's when I decided to put them up on auction. I immediately had messages with some really good offers, but made the decision to let them run the course. Actually, after asking y'all's advice. Sold for $365 plus shipping. Starting bid was $179.90. If you see the blue ones, pick them up. These are blue Cabbage bowls, and her investment was $34. These sold for $365. Jane Brown. I went to an estate sale back in 2020 and kept walking by these. I didn't want them at first because the salt shaker had some damage, but at the last second grabbed them for $5. Nearly fell off the couch when I got home and looked them up. This collection is sought after for the star eyes. Had these listed for $350 for a while, priced back and forth, finally went higher and sold after 2 years and 7 months for $375. Now, where else can you invest $5 and then have a return like that? Yeah, it took a few years, but still, you just don't see that anywhere else. Well, that's legal. eBay's legal. Vintage Christmas Holt Howard, 1960 starry-eyed Santa salt and pepper shakers. Sherry Ogden, my biggest sale to date. Woohoo! I almost didn't buy it because I thought the zipper was broken and the thrift store wanted $40. I walked away and a gentleman tried it on and instantly I regretted it. Thankfully, he put it back and I grabbed it. Turns out the zipper was just fine. I sold it for best offer of $400 in less than 24 hours. Vintage snow goose down jacket coat coyote Arctic Expedition. That is a great sale. Alfredo Hernandez has another one. I had these listed for over a year, paid $75 for the whole set, took a $450 offer, and the buyer paid $360 for shipping. It went to a prop studio in Georgia, which I thought was so cool. And Alfredo, if you're listening, I would love to know what prop studio that was because I actually have a friend that works for one. That would just be such a small world if you sold it to where she works. So let me know. Nancy Strohs. I usually look in the linens for small blankets for my dog and never thought I would find something for eBay. This was at a local thrift store mixed in with other blankets. I paid $30 and researched the maker. There is a similar one of his at a Chicago museum. I almost kept it but didn't want to ruin it by using it and didn't want to store it away. Started bidding at $499 and it had only one bid. This is an antique wool coverlet quilt. Well, it's actually just a coverlet. And she paid $30. It sold for $499. Stephen Gittler, actually Dr. Gittler. My second highest sale ever after the $610 bottle cap from a few months ago. Paid $125 at an estate sale on September 24th. Listed on October 6th. Sold for full asking price a few hours later. This is a vintage Lionel train. $595. All right, KC has an interesting one. I walked past these about 10 times at an estate sale yesterday. The house was filled with art supplies. Some lady found them mixed in a drawer full of office junk, and we both had a laugh trying to guess what they were. After already checking out 2 times, I just couldn't leave and went back in for a final round of looking. I couldn't resist any longer and took them to the checkout. I said I literally had no clue what they were, and the employee couldn't find them online either. It felt like a real gamble at the $35 price she gave me. Well, after some serious research, I discovered they are definitely not art supplies. I listed and sold them in 2.5 hours for $600. These are Civil War era 1850s antique dental tools. I mean, there's just no limit to what is out there that you can sell. $35 and sold for just under $600. Patty Paul, my husband and I were just on vacation and I was just plodding along listing a bunch of posters that I had taken pictures of before we left. I had no idea I had any posters that were worth over $100. After some research, listed this one for $850 and took this offer within 1 day of listing. And I bet that paid for some of your vacation. Vintage art poster signed Jacob Lawrence. Painting Amistad exhibit 150th anniversary. $600 for a poster. Okay, Myra Como. I'm posting this one again because I think my picture in the September thread was too small. This was my second best sale ever, purchased at an estate sale for $50 and sold for best offer of $665 after 10 months. Just knew that one right buyer was out there and willing to wait for them. This is a rare signed Nano Lopez Gickley on canvas. It sold for $665. Her investment was $50. KC has another one, of course. I found this in a box of free books at the thrift store and sold for $1,055 on a 10-day auction. I actually had an email offer early on for $1,200, which I rejected. Oops. Metallica, all four signed autograph, 1992 program. This was free and sold for $1,055. And the final sale is from Holly Feger. This was a first for me in many ways. I bought 20 plus boxes of false graph china settings. I normally don't do breakables. I'm usually not comfortable negotiating, and it turned out to be my largest sale yet. Bought 20 plus sets of these place settings for about $4 each at a garage sale after offering $100 for 10 boxes. He had the boxes listed at $20 each. The seller said I could have it all for $100. One buyer bought 2. I contacted the buyer and inquired if they would like to buy more, giving him the first choice. He chose 8, and I made this special listing for the buyer. So technically, I bought these 8 for a total of $32, sold them for $1,400 plus shipping in one day. Lesson learned, it's worth stepping out of your comfort zone, trying new niches and new ways to source. So thankful. Okay, you guys are just amazing. I really enjoy doing these videos and seeing everything that you're selling, and it just is inspiring to know that all of this stuff is just out there. The world is our oyster, and seek and ye shall find. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a fun day on eBay. Bye.